Welcome back to the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Set to go with the Raiders and the Colts. George Blanda is here. 26 seasons in the league. Ted Hendricks, the all-world linebacker, and Jim Otto in the Hall of Fame, also a member of the Raiders organization. We are set to go. Hunter Smith will kick it away for the Indianapolis Colts, and David Dunn will be deep to receive for the Raiders. Both quarterbacks getting in that last-minute look at what they want to do when they get on the field. Richie Gannon will be first. It's a packed house here in Indianapolis. And we're underway. Short kick. Done at the 9. Snowed under at the 24.
On offense, it starts with Rich Gannon. He has to continue to do the job and distribute the ball to his wide receivers as well as his backs and tight ends. Keep the Colt defense guessing. Jerry Rice, so far, 21 receptions, 3 touchdowns. He's doing things in this offense he hasn't done in 5 years, getting up the field. And Tim Brown, he also has 21 receptions and 1 TD. Tim Brown is the guy that's had to make the sacrifices and make room for Jerry Rice.
There's Rice. He and Brown will start at wide receiver. Charlie Garner is in there as the starting running back. And Garner, who plied his trade the last couple of years with San Francisco, can't get outside.
Defense is really is no secret here. Chad Bratzky, he only has 1.5 sacks this year so far. He's got to get to the quarterback and force some things downfield. When I say force some things downfield, you got 2 young guys, Backlund and Bouchard. These guys, look at 8 career starts between the 2 of them. They're going up against two wide receivers, Brown and Rice, who started 383 games. It isn't fair.
Now they have 4 wideouts in there, and Gannon is back to throw. 4-man rush under a little pressure. Dumps it off to Garner. And Charlie Garner all the way up to the 39-yard line, chased out by Corey Bird.
That's a little bunch package that the Raiders use. By bunching, you means you bring your wide receivers in close to the formation. As they go up the field, it brings the defense in and forces them to go back with them so that Charlie Garner could come out underneath.
John Gruden, the youngest coach still in the NFL, even in his 4th year as the head of the Raiders. He is 38 years old, took them to the AFC Championship game a year ago. Gannon changing the play as the Colts show blitz. Gannon out in the flat, and Garner pushed out of bounds, never had a chance. Jeff Burris was right there. The Raiders offense comes in 21st rushing the ball this year. They were first a year ago, the number 9 passing it, but look at the Colts defense. 29th against the rush.
11th against the pass because they're 29th against the rush.
Exactly. 2nd and 11. Wheatley is in as the single setback. Gannon to throw. Had some pressure, goes to Jerry Porter. Porter reaches the 45, brought down by Burris and Macklin.
Jerry Porter is a guy that the Raiders have to count on. He has a wealth of talent, but he played so many different positions at West Virginia. He played quarterback. He played running back. He played safety. He's really played very little wide receiver. He's got 2 great guys to learn from. If this offense continues to expand, it's going to have to be because of the growth of Jerry Porter.
3rd and 4 from the Raider 45. Garner's out as a wide receiver. Rice is in the slot left. Pressure on Gannon, throws underneath Tim Brown to the 35, first down Oakland.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, you want to talk about the most unfair pass coverage the world has ever known? Chad Bratzky, number 92, defensive end, is covering Brown. Now, you figure this one out. I know that this is a zone blitz. But look at number 92. This is a defensive end.
He's not covering him.
I know he's not covering him. Trust me, he wasn't.
He's sort of in the area where Brown was passing through and didn't have a ticket for the bus.
Hey, that's a moral victory. He was in the area.
Wow.
Impressive opening drive so far for the Raiders. They've reached the Colts 34. Wheatley. Big hole up the middle. Wheatley gains 12. It's a first down.
Was this great footwork by Wheatley? Wheatley steps right, steps left, steps right, steps left, and then back up into the middle. Watch Wheatley's footwork. Don't look at anything else. Look at his feet. Outside, inside, break a tackle, now straight up the field.
All that happens because John Ritchie, the fullback, number 40, got a block on Mike Peterson.
Wheatley's average way down from a year ago, but runs like that will bring it right back up. Got a great block from John Ritchie in front of him as well. Follows Ritchie again. Picks his way inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Wheatley, who was the 17th pick in the draft by the New York Giants, was found wanting there. Then went to Miami, was cut by the Dolphins. He got to the Raiders. He said, there are 31 flavors in the NFL. If I have to try all of them, I will. This is 3, and he's very happy with this flavor.
You can see over 1,000 yards a year ago. He really has settled in to be the big back. Plays out of the eye. He's not one of those nifty guys, but straight up and down, he'll knock people over.
2nd and 7. Randy Jordan, number 28, is in for the first time. Gannon pressure. He's so good at this. Cota takes him down at the 16. That offensive line averaging 314 pounds. Sims, the 8-time Pro Bowler, Wisniewski at 305. Barrett Robbins is injured, so Adam True is in his place. Frank Middleton has replaced Mo Collins, the starter on the right side, and Lincoln Kennedy, the biggest guy up there, went to the Pro Bowl a year ago. 3rd and 4. Garner and Jordan are both in. So are 2 tight ends. A multiple formation offense. Nice play fake by Gannon under pressure. And throws it away. This will bring on Sebastian Janikowski, who brought a lot of baggage with him to the pros and got more after the last game last week in Dallas. He went to a club. According to a police report, he was incoherent and flailing wildly on the floor. As a result, he cut his head. It required 5 stitches. One witness claimed he was on drugs. In college, he was found innocent on drug possession charges. His agent said he just was drinking. That's all there was to it. But no one can deny what Janikowski has done on the field this year. He has been absolutely perfect. John Gruden not happy. There is a flag down on the play. Motion before the field goal. And now Janikowski will have to do it all over again.
I'm going to tell you what, this has got to drive. Look at here. There's the motion. See who's coming on the field? Number 32, Zach Crockett, was not on the field.
Against the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Zach Crockett, number 32, is supposed to be on the field goal team. Here he comes. Look at the top of your screen.
Oh.
Yo, Zach, just stay out. That's why that thing was almost blocked, because he wasn't where he was supposed to be. Well, you know, Joe, you played special teams too. They go over these things and over these things, and you know that you have to be on.
Especially when you're the backup fullback. You're going to get on the field in very limited situations anyway.
Now Janikowski will have to try it from 39. Distance will not be a problem. Neither is accuracy. They had 11 guys, and no one was moving that time except the kicker. 3-0 Raiders. $3-0 Raiders after an impressive 59-yard drive that paid off in Janikowski's field goal. And Janikowski will now kick it away to the rookie Dominic Rose out of Midwest Texas State. From the 4. Seam up the middle and cuts it to the outside. Flags are down everywhere. Rhodes reaches the 45. Now we'll check the penalty after a 40-yard return.
It's holding against the Colts. It's not so hard to really diagnose when you look at all the Colts going towards the end zone.
Holding number 51 during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
I've always been impressed at how quickly you pick things up like that.
Call was on Mike Morton, 3-0 Oakland. Peyton Manning will get his turn when we come back. Beautiful machines in there. Peyton Manning, first down. Screen to the tight end, Pollard. Pollard runs through a tackle to the 45 and out of bounds. 28-yard gain on the first play.
Nice bit of play action passing by Manning. They fake the run to the right to Edgerrin James. There's your fake. Get that ball out there where people can see it. Marcus Pollard. Pollard has to be a big part. Does a good job of blocking, releases. He is like their third receiver. Has such versatility and been such a great part of this offense.
Boy, they set a tight end with Dilger and Pollard. Two big guys who can run. Draw play. James behind Pollard this time. And Edgerrin James just back to the line of scrimmage.
On offense, obviously it starts with Peyton Manning. He'll be in a no-huddle type of an offense at the line of scrimmage. He has to be efficient in his play selection. Edgerrin James must be a bigger part of the offense. Touched the ball 30 to 35 times. And Marvin Harrison, he is their lone big threat, and he's the guy that needs to get it done. They do not have Jerome Pathon on the opposite side to help him.
2nd and 10. Movement, Tarek Glenn.
78 offense. 5 yards, second down.
Bob McElway, the veteran. There is Pathon, who came in with 318 yards leading the team. Harrison has been limited to 230. Catching the ball in 3 games.
Still has his foot in a boot. Hopefully he'll be back in 10 days for the Kansas City game. Saw him last night. He's not quite sure.
Got Reggie Wayne on the other side and Terrence Wilkins as well. It's 2nd and 14 for the Colts. Blitz coming. Manning unloads to Harrison, and Woodson lays a lick on him at the 48.
That's one I want to watch all night. Two of the best in the business, Marvin Harrison and Charles Woodson, going one-on-one. Harrison goes out, makes the turn route. Woodson gives him a little space. But this is where Charles is so powerful. That is a tackle.
I can assure you one thing, Charles Woodson will not be bored tonight.
No, they're both Pro Bowl starters, though, really be going after each other. Spot the ball at the 49. It's 3rd and 7 for the Colts, opening possession. Raiders jump. Flags are down. Free play for Manning. Good as he throws.
Well, there's a flag. First of all, the Raiders jump. Then there's a flag in the offensive backfield.
We have offsetting fouls. Offside, 94 defense. Holding, 78 offense. Penalties offset. Replay, 3rd down.
Tony Bryant was offside, and then Tarek Glenn called for holding.
You know, it kind of seems unfair. You got a 5-yard penalty that wipes out a 10-yard penalty. Someone should get 5 yards somewhere.
There's nothing unfair, and John Gruden is insisting that he got back in his 4th season, 31 and 21. As you mentioned, Michael, the youngest head coach. Oddly enough, on the other side of the field is Jim Mora, who's the oldest head coach.
Age 66, made his mark in New Orleans. He is in his 4th year with the Indianapolis Colts.
The Raiders defensively will be on a string all night because Peyton Manning will be at the line of scrimmage. I call it, it's not a no huddle, it's not a sugar huddle. I call it the muddle huddle. And what he's doing is he's muddling things as he stands at the line of scrimmage. They do not go back and set. Therefore, the Raiders have to be ready to go right from the beginning. Pressure up the middle. Manning throws.
Catch or no? Wilkins was there. The officials looking at each other. Now they say no. Would have been a first down at the 38-yard line.
Wilkins is saying, Coach, I caught it. I know I caught it. We want a replay.
Did he catch it? Here comes the ball. It's on the ground. How can you get up and say you caught it?
Now, when you look at Jim Mora's record in challenges, he's 1 for 13 career. He's not real quick to throw the flag out and make a decision.
Hunter Smith with a brilliant punting average of 47.3, but the net is 30.8. It's a tremendous difference. Both punters with disparities like that. Hunter hangs this one high. They'll let it go, and it goes into the end zone. That's one of the reasons his net is so low. 52-yard punt, a net of only 32. 3-0, Oakland. Raiders start from the 20. Garner is the deep man, and he'll get the carry. Straight up the middle for about 4. Let's go to the field and Susie Colbert.
Well, Mike, we've already seen it in the first series in the beginning of this one. Rich Gannon telling us this is the best set of weapons he's ever had. And as for getting the ball to Tim Brown and Jerry Rice, he said that they do have creative ways to get lots of different plays in for both of them. He said it could get a little uncomfortable on the sideline after the first quarter if one of them hasn't gotten the ball yet. Right now, that's Jerry.
A little balancing act he's got to go through here. Jerry Porter checks in as a third wide receiver. Pressure coming. Gannon hangs in a pocket. And Brown takes it up to the 32. Jeff Burris with the stop, but it's another first down.
But that's a nice job by Charlie Garner, the back. The safety comes on a blitz. Rich Gannon stays there, and Charlie Garner, he doesn't wait for the rushman to knock him over. He steps up and stones him so that Gannon gets a lane to be able to make the pass to Brown.
Richie and Wheatley are now the backs behind Gannon. A lot of time. Now Gannon flush from the pocket and tripped up as he got to the 34. Rob Morris, the middle linebacker, caught him from behind.
You know, Susie was talking about Jerry not getting a ball yet in this quarter, but when we had a chance to visit with Jerry Rice yesterday, we talked to him about comparing Rich Gannon to Joe Montana and Steve Young. And he said very simply, I would put him in their class. And that to me is the supreme compliment coming from a guy who has caught balls, record-breaking pass receptions from both of the guys that will be in the Hall of Fame, from another young guy in this offense.
He's been remarkably consistent since he came to the Raiders. Garner, nice cut. Taken out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line. Good tackle by the rookie Idris Bashir out of Memphis.
That's the one thing that Charlie Garner gives him. Watch how quick he gets to this hole. Here's Charlie Garner, outside, back, inside, and now he sees the hole open back to the outside, and there's Garner. I mean, that's just a nice run following your blocker, but he gives him that quickness to get to the outside.
Has the ability to accelerate.
He's been splitting
time with He has the ability to accelerate. I wasn't done.
Sure, that go in here?
Well, Joe jumped. I wasn't done yet, and Joe jumped in. I wanted to get that in.
3rd and 3. Blitz coming. Ooh, Gannon. Taken down by Marcus Washington, who got a great start.
Marcus Washington was the back that Charlie Garner blocked 2 plays ago. This time Tyrone Wheatley is in, and he's got to make the pickup. Look at the top right of your screen. Look at Tyrone Wheatley doesn't even block him. He doesn't even make an effort to try and stop Washington.
He never slowed him down. I mean, you've got to do something. Even in a situation like that, when you know that your quarterback's going to get laid out, you've got to at least grab the guy.
Wheatley at 235 ought to be able to stop a linebacker, and there's Washington out of Auburn, a second-year player, but basically a rookie, didn't get a chance to play very much. There's an injured player for the Colts. This will be a 4th down, and the Raiders will have to punt it. Maybe the defensive tackle, Josh Williams, number 96. John Gruden who you just saw, one of the People magazine's 50 most beautiful people in the world. Boy, is he taking a lot of grief for that, but he says he thought he was in the top 10. Back in Indianapolis, the Raiders up by a field goal, 4:56 to go first quarter. Fourth down, Shane Leckler off to a great start, averaging 46.9, but his net only 32. Been some good returns against him as well. Terrence Wilkins, who's had a rib injury, is back. Lets the ball bounce. Down by the Raiders at the 7.
Got a flag down. It's going to be against Indianapolis.
Johnny Harris, nice job to get down there on special teams and down it after 49 yards.
Thomas Smith and Doring, they were holding.
And this will back the Colts up.
Holding by the receiving team after the ball was kicked. The receivers will keep the ball after a penalty for their foul. First down.
So the Colts, literally in the shadow of their own goalpost, will start from the 3-yard line. Peyton Manning, 2 straight Pro Bowls, almost 70% completion, second in the National Football League. The only player ever to throw for more than 3,000 his first 3 years. Edgerrin James. Beekert waiting for him in the hole and makes the tackle.
And on defense for the Raiders, Darrell Russell is back after a 4-game suspension. He has a lot of beef in the middle, and they need that inside pressure, which he just applied. Beekert just tackled Edgerrin James. That's his job. Be on him wherever he goes. And then the Charles Woodson, Marvin Harrison matchup. We're going to watch this all night long. What a beautiful thing this is going to be.
Play action by Manning. Goes for the deep ball. Woodson and Harrison stride for stride. It'll bring up 3rd and long.
I love this call. I really do. When you've got defenses that have to defend that much of the football field, in this case 96 yards, put your best horse out there one-on-one. He is their big play guy, but Charles Woodson can run with him as well. And Peyton Manning did the right thing. Didn't make a mistake in his end.
Good thing he didn't throw it over the back shoulders.
Snatched it. Now 3rd and 9. Manning gets it up to James, wide open in the flat. And Edgerrin James refuses to go out of bounds on his own. First down across the 30, a gain of 27.
Great Beekert blitz, Joe, on the outside. There was a contained blitz, and nobody, but I think somebody got picked off in the secondary, was covering Edgerrin James.
It's exactly what happened. You see all the receivers in tight to the line of scrimmage. What happens is the defensive backs just wind up running into one another. It was a pick, but the defensive backs picked one another.
So the Colts get some breathing room, and now James on the ground. Big hole up the middle, this time to the 39-yard line. Since Edgerrin James came into the league in 1999, as far as yards from scrimmage are concerned, only the great Marshall Faulk, the most valuable player in the league, have more yards from scrimmage. Faulk with 51-45, James less than 300 yards behind him, and Charlie Garner is 5th on that list. Tremendous all-purpose back. Manning short set goes to Pollard, and Pollard with a flag down reaches the 46-yard line. Johnny Harris made the tackle on the big tight end.
We got holding.
That will be an automatic first down.
Holding, number 58, defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
The weak side linebacker, Elijah Alexander.
Mike, I'll tell you one thing. If you're the Oakland Raiders and you're going to bring some guys up in the middle of that line and you're going to blitz and put an 8-man front there and they run the ball, the Colts, someone better put a hat on Edgerrin James in the backfield.
James on the toss. Reaches midfield.
The advantages of, I'll call it the muddle huddle or the no huddle. Peyton Manning is in total control of the game. He's bright enough to be able to handle it. He can identify the mismatches like he tried to get with Harrison on Woodson. He dictates to the defense where he wants to go with the football, and they limit the defense from being able to substitute people. As this goes on, they'll get more and more tired.
Manning, another short set. Pollard. Nice tackle by Eric Allen, the 6-time Pro Bowler. Just so solid out there.
This is the all-22. As you see, the Colts are just standing around, and the Raiders are just standing around in this instance. That's Charles Woodson. That's Marvin Harrison. They're sort of getting an idea of what they're doing. Now Peyton Manning comes. You see Beaker turn around and talk to the defense. Manning's looking around. He's checking to see where the secondary people are. Now he takes the snap, goes back, sees exactly what he wants, but a good play by the guys up front. Tries to run a short route on 3rd down. Good job by the defensive line.
That was tipped, and they can't convert. The punting unit comes on with 1:25 to go first half. Would you have liked to have run this offense?
We did run a version of it. Yeah, I like it. Like Jim Kelly ran in Buffalo. We ran it in Washington. I think it's great, but it's crucial that you have a quarterback that's in total control. We'll get a chance to take a look at the defensive side of it and the run aspect of it as well later on in the game.
Better have a pretty smart quarterback as well, let alone one that's skilled.
Thank you, Mike.
That's why he only ran at limit.
Hunter Smith to kick to Dunn. Sky high. Dunn up to the 16 to make the fair catch. 31-yard kick, but no return. 3-0 Raiders with what we thought might be a high-scoring battle. One minute, 17 seconds to go. First quarter, Raiders take over inside their own 20. Wheatley across the 20. Susie Culber, this is certainly a veteran offense that the Raiders have.
Well, let's see. With Brown, Rice, Gannon, Wisniewski, it's not a surprise. They're the oldest unit in the NFL. Tonight's starting lineup, 94 years of experience. So during the bye week, Jim Mara had a little time. He calculated that against his defense. 7 guys, 3 years experience or less than 45 years of experience. The buzzards aren't flying around the Raiders yet.
What did John Gruden start calling Jerry Rice? He called him Red Grange. Gannon short set. That one is knocked away at the last moment by Macklin. Excellent coverage as Rice was running one of his favorite patterns.
Well, we just said we have young Macklin, and, you know, with the experience. Watch this. He plays this perfectly. That ball is thrown out in front. He gets his arm in and didn't grab Rice, knocked the ball away.
No respect for age. None whatsoever. None whatsoever.
He's too young to realize it.
I know. He was 4 years old when Jerry broke in. Or 3.
3rd and 6. Gannon with time. Rice has this one. And taken by Burris. Very close to a first down.
Well, it'll be real interesting where they mark this ball. And he got it. Rich Gannon going back, studying the defense. He sees Brown come across underneath. Rice works outside. Gets those receivers in different areas of the field. There's different triangles that they get to. This is the triangle on the left side.
Boy, Gannon just rifled that one in there for the first down. That's the end of the first quarter here in Indianapolis. 3-0 Raiders. Back on ESPN after this. Welcome back to Indianapolis, everybody. I was really impressed by the Colts defense in the first half.
And the Raiders.
First quarter.
You know, Joe started out this whole thing before the game started about all its firepower, both sides. Now, we only went one quarter, and I understand it, but we have seen no firepower.
Well, first of all, with the Raiders, they aren't going to go up the field. It's all going to be short crossing routes, so they're going to need methodical plays. For the Colts, they're going to want to try and break a big one. If they can, maybe they make a play on defense to get it going their way.
Garner hits the hole in a hurry.
The Raiders are doing exactly what they want in this football game because they don't have the speed and explosiveness outside. They have James Jett, but he plays very limited now. They're getting 4 or 5 yards out of Charlie Garner or Tyrone Wheatley on 1st and 10. Now John Gruden's in a situation where he is in control of the game. At 2nd and 5, he gets to call what he wants. You see that total yards exactly the same. 17 plays for the Raiders. Time of possession in their favor.
Did you ever think you would say the Raiders don't have that big play capability?
No, but it's a fact.
Now Gannon trying to make us liars and going deep, and does. Tim Brown makes the catch over Burris.
See, I just had to say it.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to tell you what, folks. You just have to watch it. You have to watch where the ball is put. Burris doesn't have a chance on this play because he's... Watch Brown. Just watch where they put the ball. I'm saying no more.
It's good coverage. I mean, it really is excellent coverage. Jeff Burris is right there. His hand almost swats the ball away, but it's a perfectly thrown pass by Rich Gannon. That's why he's completing 67% of his passes.
Tim Brown's already caught 3 for 67 yards. Raiders back in Colts territory. Garner on the toss. Out of bounds. We've got an injury update. Let's go to the sideline for Susan.
Well, Mike, Josh Williams earlier was poked in the eye. Trainer spent a lot of time looking at his eye on the sideline. They're calling it bruised and scratched, but he will return.
All right, thank you, Susie. And that puts Mike Wells, who's got that bigger body in there, and the Colts really small along that defensive line. Wells, 30 pounds heavier than Williams.
And the closer you get to the other team's goal line, as far as the Raiders go, this is where the crossing routes create so many problems for the Colts defense.
Colts crowding the line, and now Richie and Garner want to come up to get what the play is, and Gannon can't get it off in time. We have a timeout, 13-19 to go, first half. All right, Chris, all those questions, I'm sure you've got the answers. Gruden and Moore head-to-head here. Gruden won a year ago in a great Raider comeback. He's ahead now. Garner lowers his head, plows into the pile, and only gets to the 24-yard line.
John Gruden, as he puts this offense together, on his sheet of paper that he's looking at in front of him, that sheet he has in his hands, there's 170 plays, pass plays, on that sheet. He's calling the plays. He's the coordinator on offense, and they're all different. And that's what's required if you're in that offense, to know and memorize every one of them.
Randy Jordan is in as the third down back. Porter is in as the third wide receiver in the slot. Gannon with protection, now flush. And throws intended for Brown off the mark. And he is belted by Thomas Smith, the veteran who came over from Buffalo.
I'll tell you what, Jeff Burris was there. But Thomas Smith, you talk about labeling somebody. Watch this from number 21. Ball is tipped by Burris. Wham! And that's a legal hit. He catches him underneath the shoulder, didn't hit him in the head, just almost knocked him out.
So Janikowski comes on this one from 42 yards. He's 9 for 9 this year. Make it 10 for 10. He has kicked field goals of 39 and 42. And the Oakland Raiders have taken a 6-0 lead in Indianapolis. Welcome back to Indianapolis. No passengers in there. Everybody's inside the building here. The Raiders scoring drive, 59 yards. Janikowski, his second field goal of the game. Dominic Rhodes on the return. And the rookie takes it out to the 30-yard line, down to the sideline to Susie Colbert.
Well, Mike, Peyton is very clear on taking advantage of the Colts' opportunities now. He says with injuries and free agency, you never know who's going to be around next year. No more four-year dynasties in the league. So he says this might be a young team, but there is a sense of urgency to win now. Mike?
All right, thanks, Reggie. Peyton Manning, almost perfect on the field, letter perfect off of it. They couldn't have found a finer representative of the organization than that young man out of Tennessee. Pressured and down at the 21. Ball came loose. No signal yet. The Colts have it back.
It was a fumble, too.
But there's a flag up at the 40.
Eric Allen against Reggie Wayne, number 87-21, and they may have a holding
Illegal
penalty.
hands to the face, 21 defense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot.
It's Eric Allen, illegal hands to the face. Wayne is number 87 in blue. Eric Allen, now you watch his hands, number 21. There it is, and they call it right away. The flag comes out. They're not even paying attention to the officials of what's going on in that backfield.
So instead of being back at the 18, and John Gruden is livid, instead of being back at the 18 with 2nd and 22, they have a first down at the 35, a 17-yard penalty.
Boy, can he scowl with the best of them or what?
There's going to be a permanent wrinkle right there, right above his nose.
He's going to lose that top 50 most beautiful person status.
James is the single setback. And he'll get the carry. Nice job of following his blockers midfield and Moore in the Raider territory. He got Larry Moore, the pulling guard, out in front of him, waited on Moore's block, and then scampered 17 yards.
Yeah, but you got to love the patience of the way Edrin runs. He has to touch the ball. He's a rhythm-type runner. Look at the patience. Just waiting for Larry Moore to get out front. And a nice job of just staying right on his hip. And then you get Marcus Pollard. He's just going to take Charles Woodson right out of the play.
That's the advantage of having Pollard on the outside. James cuts back this time. Not much there. We asked Peyton Manning to describe Edgerrin James.
I think it hurts those guys to tackle him. I think it just looks like it does. And I think he's at his best in the fourth quarter. Those guys, they get tired of it. They get, you see him yelling at the D lineman, "One of you guys tackle him."
Manning to Pollard. The big guy to the 33.
Well, they're matching up Pollard on Anthony Dorsett, number 33, who is the safety. And I don't think that Anthony Dorsett can stay with him.
No, Anthony Dorsett cannot cover Marcus Pollard. He came to the Raiders from the Tennessee Titans. He is a safety and plays the middle of the field, so he's going to have to give him some room. The thing about Pollard is if you start jumping him short, he will go up top on you.
James, very patient again, and slithers down to the 24-yard line.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Glenn, number 78, the left tackle, he just rode Beaker right out of the, almost out of the ballpark. When you got these offensive linemen, now these guys have been together for a little while. They are really playing well. And this is where the strength of this Colt team is. On the left-hand side, here comes Glenn, number 78. Look at this. Excuse me, that was Alexander that was knocked out, not Beaker.
Edgerrin James with 2 straight NFL rushing titles. Last year, 1,709 yards on the ground. Blitz coming. What a fake by Manning. Holy cow.
You wouldn't put Peyton Manning in the same category as a Dante Culpepper or a Donovan McNabb, but he will run. He just fooled Josh Taves, number 99, comes up. Taves still doesn't know Manning has the ball. And sometimes you wonder, is this something that he does on his own? I almost think that the play was called to give the ball to Edgerrin, but Peyton decided to keep it.
I'll tell you what, that's a lot to give up for 2 yards, pal.
straight back under pressure again, and this time he gets down at the 30.
That was a nice job by Elijah Alexander, number 58. On the right side, Edgerrin James steps up to make the block. Manning's trying to throw to the right, and it's going to get pushed right back in his face. 58 on the top of the screen. Watch 32. Right back in Manning's lap. Beekert finishes him off. Hey, these outside backers are knocking the running backs around tonight.
Well, they're getting a running start at him.
Alexander played for Denver, then Indianapolis after a shoulder injury. Out of football in 98, came back in 99. 2nd and 17 now for the Colts. Manning tries to fit this one into Harrison. He was covered by Dorsett, the safety.
Marvin Harrison wasn't even looking at the ball. He really wasn't, because he just patted himself on the chest like that was my fault when after the ball was thrown. He's going down on number 33, Dorsett. Now look at when he breaks to the inside. Is he actually looking? He slowed down. He stopped when he saw Dorsett, and then he watched him pat himself. My fault.
No, well, that was called a read route. And what he did is he had the option to go to the post or go up top. He really got into an indecisive point where he went neither, and Manning had to unload it.
3rd and 17. Blitz comes. Manning rolls away from pressure, throws. Pollard knocked away at the last minute. Dorsett reached his right hand out and just got a piece.
Boy, I'll tell you what. There are a lot of things that happen on this play. Pollard runs an outstanding route. Peyton Manning throws a great play, and then Dorsett at the last second gets his hand up. There's Pollard. He's already got Dorsett beat. Watch the coverage here. He gets his hand inside. What a nice play defensively. The ball was thrown almost perfectly.
Now Vanderjagt will come on to try from 47 yards. He just had the toenail on his big toe on his right foot removed because it hurt him every time it hit. He said, this will hurt, but I've got to do it anyway. He'll smile through the pain as he delivers on a 47-yarder. And the Colts get on the board with 8:41 to go first half. Raiders on top of the Colts 6-3. Elijah Alexander and Tony Dorsett have made up while we were away, or Anthony
Tony wishes he was playing
right. Still. While we were away, they really went after each other after each had made great back-to-back plays. David Dunn on the return. And Dunn trapped down at the 22-yard line and knocked off his feet by Corey Bird. Nice tackle by the rookie. There is a marker down.
It's got to be offsides on the kicking team.
I would think you'd give him another chance to do it again.
Well, the Raiders kind of think that they got some return things on.
Offside on the kicking team, number 51. Free kick with a 5-yard penalty.
Now, while we were away and the Raiders defense came off the field, Dorsett and Alexander really got into it with each other and had to be separated by the coaches.
That's Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator. He's trying to talk to Dorsett. They're trying to calm down Elijah. Elijah's trying to make his point. They ultimately did. I tell you, you don't think this game, there's emotion? There's emotion everywhere in this game. Coaches, players. They're trying to get coordinated.
Elijah's trying to explain it to Beekert.
Well, I think
Beekert doesn't want to hear it.
Some of it has to do with the fact that all the communications that have to take place have to be done on the fly because Peyton Manning is not huddling other than the first play off the sideline.
And here's what these special teamers really look forward to. A second straight 70-yard sprint down the field. Smith, whose kickoffs have been short all year, floats this one down to the 10. Done with a running start to the 30 where he's hammered. 8:24 to go first half in what has been a defensive gem so far. So so far, Rich Gannon with a slight statistical edge against Peyton Manning in their battle tonight, and the Raiders with a slight 6-3 edge on the scoreboard. Gannon with plenty of time, throws underneath to Brown, came all the way across the formation.
There's a triangle that happens with the West Coast offense. As Rich Gannon goes back, you'll see that he's looking at three receivers, which really form a triangle. The tight end down here on the lower side, Tim Brown in the middle, and the back checking the other tight end coming across. It forms a triangle. That's called a middle triangle for his vision. He waits for Brown to clear in this instance and winds up with a big play.
First down Raiders from their own 42. Wheatley gets a couple.
What you want to do in the West Coast offense, and I use that term just as a descriptive term, in John Gruden's style of offense, is you see a lot of crossing routes at different levels. You have a receiver down low, a receiver up high, and one in the middle. And they form a triangle for the quarterback to look at different depths. They have them to the right side, they have them in the middle, as we just illustrated, and they also have them to the left side. It really helps the quarterback focus on where he wants to throw the football.
2nd and 8. Gannon steps up, intended for Brown, and knocked away by Bashir. Tim Brown, the intended target there. Susie has more on him.
Mike, we're talking about the West Coast offense, and the main benefactor of that style of play tonight is Tim Brown. So far, 4 receptions for 79 yards. He has been the #1 target here for a long, long time. They install things just to get him the ball. Incredible comfort level between Rich Gannon and him. He always finds a way to get over.
Susie's such a great guy and an 8-time Pro Bowler. 3rd and long, Randy Jordan checks in. Blitz coming. Incomplete. Rice couldn't hold it. Burris was right on his back.
Boy, I'll tell you what, this was an excellent throw by Gannon. And he throws it to the outside where the only guy that really could get it is Rice. But watch the coverage by Burris, number 20. The ball is down into the outside. He hits Rice and hits him between his arms, so he actually opens up his arms so he can't grab the ball.
Tremendous job by Jeff Burris. Now Leckler will come on to kick to Wilkins, who waits back at his 10. Pressure on Leckler, got it out of there toward the far sideline and out of bounds.
This is the way you kick.
Thursday night, NFL Tonight at 7:30. Mark Malone, followed by Eric Moulds and the Bills, going to Alltel Stadium to face Mark Brunell and the Jaguars. Our coverage starts at 8:28 Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
The Jaguars, we talked about it when we did them earlier in the year.
Yes, sir.
Boy, they can't afford to get thin, and they lose Tony Baselli, which looks like for the year now. R.J. Soward gone for at least 6 more weeks. Who knows whether this kid will ever play. And they are getting thin.
And the Bills are thin. Very.
They march the punt out of bounds to the 16. The Colts will start from there. Good play fake again by Manning. Throws on the run. Harrison with his 2nd grab of the night up to the 27-yard line. Biekert made the tackle.
What a great thought process between Harrison and Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, he's the guy that escapes, gets himself out of there, and works himself back. Now watch Marvin Harrison get himself open. Biekert, number 54, is right. Look at it. He's facing him, and then Marvin Harrison gets himself open and gets a first down.
Marvin Harrison, only the 5th player in NFL history with back-to-back years over 100 catches, 115 and 102, trying to jumpstart Edgerrin James again. Good block by Tarek Glenn, leading him around the left side.
I want to go back and show you our total 22 and talk about what Peyton Manning is doing with this muddle huddle, this quick run offense. Everybody's around the line of scrimmage. You see him standing. Everybody, there's the receivers deployed out wide, the corners having to cover them. Now Manning is looking at the way the corners are lined up. He's looking at the way the defensive line, and now what he does, he goes on a different cadence. It is very disconcerting for the defense because they just can't get a rhythm on what's going on offense.
Encroachment, number 57, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Rod Coleman, the defensive tackle, came across early.
See, his Hut goes with a hard count. Now, he could do that a couple of times and then step away from the line of scrimmage and be able to go out and just restart the play over. He does an excellent job in the 22. As you see, they don't form what we consider a normal huddle. Now, even though he has said something to him, he comes to the line of scrimmage, again, looking not only at the secondary, but also at what's going off up front with the defensive lineman, just in case he wants to audible to a running play.
Here comes the blitz. Manning unloads, and it's picked off, thrown right in the hands of Dorsett. And Dorsett goes 39 yards for the touchdown.
Now there's a case where two guys are not on the same page.
Pollard went one way, the ball went the other, and Dorsett gets an early Christmas gift.
Yeah, let me tell you what happened with Dorsett. That was a guy about 10 minutes ago said he can't cover Pollard, but Pollard went the wrong way.
Didn't have to. But
let me tell you what happened. This ball hit him. You could hear it. Hit him in the chest and stuck. It was like Velcro. It hit Dorsett right smack between the numbers, and he caught the ball and went for the touchdown.
And you could see Pollard talking to Tom Moore, and he said, my fault.
Yeah,
my
well,
fault.
you know, it just doesn't matter. That's the 4th interception that Peyton Manning has thrown this year. That's run back for a touchdown. He's only thrown 8. Now, 8 is a lot for him, but 8, this is the 4th one for a touchdown. Watch this. Quick release. Pollard whipped inside. Dorsett's the only one that worked outside. He winds up with the 6 points.
And the Raiders had a blitz coming right up in Peyton Manning's face. He saw it and threw it quick.
Now, Pollard's the hot receiver on that blitz. He and Peyton Manning have to read exactly the same thing, don't they, Joe?
They do. They have to be on the same page. Now, Peyton goes, come on, you're supposed to go outside. When we practice? Remember, this football team has been off for 2 weeks. This isn't like it's a short 2-day preparation period. They've had 2 weeks to prepare.
Well, don't you really like the attitude when you sit down and talk to Peyton Manning and you ask him, he says, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 3 for touchdowns. Until this one, now it's 4. And he said, yeah. And what is your point? I mean, he just said, hey, it's going to happen.
Everybody has to be on the same page. And you ask yourself, does that hurry-up style of offense create the lack of communication? No, because Jim Mora, during the practices, works very hard to make sure that everybody understands where they're supposed to be.
13-3 now. Oakland, will they get the first touchdown of the ball game? Pollard, who had played so well, went the wrong way, and it results in 7 points. Dominic Rhodes deep to receive the kick, and Janikowski puts it 2 yards deep, and Rhodes nearly took it out. That's 8 picks for Peyton Manning. We had a chance to talk to him earlier this week. We asked him if the 7 he had thrown coming in had an effect on him.
The fact that I do have 7 interceptions on the stat sheet has not affected one bit my aggressiveness, my thinking of sticking one in there versus tight coverage. As soon as I do that, that's when I'm not going to be the player that I'm capable of being. I have to be out there. You don't want to throw interceptions. You can't be afraid to throw them.
But it's not his fault. He makes a very good point. As a quarterback, you have to depend on your guys getting to where they're supposed to be. In that case, it didn't happen.
And there's no back off in that kid. He's going to throw what he needs to throw. Trevor Inslee, number 83, is in for the first time as a wide receiver for the Colts. James to the 19-yard line. You lose a yard. Greg Beekert, such a solid tackler, is right there.
Hey, you guys were talking about Peyton Manning and about how smart he is. And I can assure you, folks, that young man right there knows where everybody is supposed to be and what they're supposed to do, including all of the offensive linemen. And he also knows where the defensive guys are going to be. The guy is extremely smart, and he takes pride in it.
Manning straight back. And incomplete, intended for Harrison. And there's the flag down. and against the Raiders. Jim Mora gets a break.
You know, we talked about Woodson on Harrison, the two All-Pros.
Hands to the face, 91 defense. 5-yard penalty.
That's on Reagan
Automatic
Upshaw.
first down.
But here's Woodson on Marvin Harrison, and Manning's going there. And he sees the one-on-one coverage to the outside, and he thinks that Woodson is going to get beaten. I don't think so. This ball is thrown low. Still could have been caught.
Charles Woodson, because of the things you talked about in the open, his versatility now in playing in different positions, has really gained a focus. And I think it's helped him be even just a better, just a corner in one-on-one coverage.
Well, you saw the one line on his graphic about winning the 97 Heisman Trophy. Peyton Manning, who had been the favorite at the start of the season, was the guy who finished second to him in the balloting. You know about finishing second in the Heisman.
Thank you, Mike. Between the two of you guys, you reminded me of some very, very key moments in my life.
That is not an insult. Do you realize how much either one of us would have loved to have been second for the Heisman Trophy?
Let me explain something.
I'm not going to win it. I don't want to be second.
Doesn't work at all anywhere. I got to be honest with you.
Do you get anything for second?
No.
No? I was going to ask if I could borrow it, but if it's nothing.
Actually, at second, he was the first guy that got his hand shook. They shake your hand first.
Oh, second. I see.
Howdy.
No, my finishing second. You know, when you're in college and you're considered for the honor, you say all the right things. It's nice, but it hurt, and it doesn't mean a darn thing unless you. It's like being runner-up in a Super Bowl. You know, that's a big deal.
I didn't even know you were second.
Well, you didn't pay any attention to it. If I wanted you to know.
Raiders showing blitz again. And they come with it. Edgerrin James lowers his head, gets to the 25-yard line.
Paul, you were talking about Woodson and Harrison. There it is. 9 plays. 1 thrown at, completed once, 6 yards. Marvin Harrison has been held to 6 total yards. As a matter of fact, all the wide receivers for the Colts have a total of 6 yards with 1 catch.
There they go again.
Wilkins. Little flanker screen that looked like the timing was messed up on that. Reagan Upshaw in on the stop.
This is a great play, Joe, when it works. This is a horrible play when you're a receiver and you catch the ball and all you see, and you're in blue, and all you see are white shirts and they're going to kill you. Watch this. Wilkins, he catches the ball. Look at, oh my goodness, I'm looking at Grady Jackson. Big old 90.
Where do I go?
Where do I go from here?
Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator. Everybody talks about all the young guys that run that West Coast style of offense. There's a man that's running offense that has won championships, produced all types of records for players that have played in it.
And boy, is he fun during the game just to watch what he calls.
He hasn't been the last 2 weeks.
Manning throws wide of Wilkins this time. Eric Allen was right there. And Peyton Manning, all he can do right now is shake his head on 4th and 6.
Credit to the Raiders defensively. Chuck Bresnahan is doing an excellent job. When I talked to him earlier this week, he made 2 very good points. He says this game is not a 10-minute game. We have to be patient.
Joe, on this last play, when knowing where everyone is, watch Marvin Harrison, number 88. He is absolutely wide open. And they went the other way.
Hunter Smith to kick it away to David Dunn, who is 7th in the NFL in punt returns this year. A wobbler, Dunn with a fair catch.
Whoa.
Made the fair catch signal and then took off. That'll be a penalty.
There's your indecision.
You're right.
Hello.
Hello. I'll tell you, the official almost let him get away with it. He reached for the flag, then he didn't, and then he said, no, you can't do that. Watch this. There's the little half a fair catch signal. Now he says, oh, gee, hey, look, there's nobody around me. Let me run. No, I can't do it. Now, here, Mr. Official.
Signal number 88.
There you go.
5-yard penalty. First down.
It's one or the other, not both.
You get a choice.
You know, it isn't, I got to be honest with you guys, it's not that tough a decision to make. If you put your right hand up, it's supposed to tell your legs, I'm not supposed to run with it.
Well, you know, he knew he gave an illegal, or a non-call for a fair catch, so he had to do something with it. He did the right thing. He ran.
I don't think he knew what he did.
I agree with you.
Peyton Manning and Tom Moore sitting there talking about how they want to try and attack this Raider defense.
Big play in this game so far was the 39-yard interception return by Dorsett. off the Manning interception. Garner the single setback, and Charlie will get the football. Room to run outside. Picks up 10. We talked about Peyton Manning. For more on another Manning, let's go to Chris Berman.
Mike, this isn't news to Peyton or Archie Manning, but to some others you may not have seen. Ole Miss with younger brother Eli Manning to Joe Gunn, touchdown. They beat Alabama for the first time in 13 years. 27-24, Ole Miss wins it. Eli Manning, 325 yards passing.
There's Peyton's numbers, Chris. And remember, we saw Eli at the end of last year in the bowl game for Ole Miss, and boy, that kid could play.
Peyton basically thinks that Eli is better than he was at that stage in college.
And
Archie,
I don't know.
No, wait a minute. Archie
Peyton was great.
I know.
Archie, the father, who played in the pros and was very good, thinks that Eli is the best of all of them.
Well, he and Olivia were at the Ole Miss-Alabama game. Peyton said there's so many direct flights to Oxford from their home, they decided to go there. Gannon under pressure. And Gannon sacked all the way back at the 20-yard line by Chucky Wakori.
That is just not something you'll see out of Rich Gannon very often. Josh Williams pushes the pocket back in his face, number 96. You see him get through. Frank Middleton trying to block him. Gannon's only been sacked a total of 6 times, including that one. Normally very good at protecting down and distances.
And for Wakori, the third-year defensive end out of Purdue, his first sack of the season. 2nd and 23, clock running. Draw play, Garner. Breaks the tackle out to the 33. It'll bring up 3rd and long. And we have reached the 2-minute warning in Indianapolis with the Raiders looking to go 4-1 on top 13-3.
In a situation like this, you got to figure that either Tim Brown or Jerry Rice should get the ball on a crossing route. I'm going to guess it's going to be Tim Brown he's going to look for.
Colts show blitz. Looked like movement up front, and there was. The Raiders' offensive line got a little anxious. Looked like Barry Sims, the left tackle, moved quickly.
65-0. 5 yards, 3rd down.
I'll tell you, here's a situation where the Raiders, they hand the ball off, they punt the ball away, which is not a bad thing.
Well, Barry Sims that time, he's not looking at the ball. He's focused on Chad Bradsky, and his movement does not have John Gruden very delighted.
Focusing on Bradsky's not a bad idea, though. 3rd and 18. Gannon sidearms one, and Brown and Rice, with one more step, would have collided head-on at midfield.
Good job by the Colts defensively. First of all, to get the sack and create the long yardage. Now they've done a nice job of staying with these wide receivers. There's Macklin. He just cuts him loose. Keep an eye on where he is. Bashir coming up. And there they are, almost running into one another. Thomas Smith mirroring Tim Brown.
Leckler to kick to Wilkins. Low line drive. Wilkins back to the 17. Wilkins to the 35. An 18-yard return after a 55-yard shot. Travian Smith made the tackle for the Raiders on special teams. So the Colts will have 1:42 to go to work. Let's go to the sideline and Susie Colbert.
Mike, one of the challenges for John Gruden is to try to get a balanced attack. That's what he's going for. So far tonight, he's got it. You can see 14 rushes for 65 yards, 16 pass for 88 yards. They're trying to get that running game untracked. So far, they've been able to do that tonight. So at least the balance part is working. Now they just have to put some more points from that offense on the board.
13-3 is the count right now. The Colts have only a field goal to show for their first half of work on offense. James runs into his own man and then gets a couple. Crowd did not like the call.
They may be a little bit balanced 16-14 pass and run, but they don't have the yardage to go with the balance that they want. I mean, you don't even have 100 yards passing, and you got only 67 yards running the ball. That's not really getting it done.
Swing to James. Allen is out there, so is Beaker. He can't get away. Reaches the 39-yard line.
Now this is the hurry-up offense, and Peyton Manning will use one of his 3 timeouts to go over and talk to Tom Moore.
1:16 to go in the half. Back after this. The Colts are facing a 3rd and 6 from their own 39-yard line, trying to keep the drive alive with 1:16 to go in the first half.
Sometimes when a quarterback throws a ball to a receiver, Pollard was a big part of this first half. When a quarterback throws the ball to a receiver and he doesn't go where you want him to, it's hard to fight human nature and say, well, in this situation, I'd go back. I would think on 3rd and 6, I'd try and get the matchup Pollard on Dorsett. I still like it, and that would be the guy that I'd try and get the ball to.
Well, we haven't seen anything of Tim Dilger, who has been troubled by a bad knee.
They've thrown 9 balls to Tim Dilger this year. He's caught 4 of them. Nothing in this game.
Manning from the shotgun. Blitz coming. Manning hangs in the pocket and throws. First down, Harrison. Harrison at the 49-yard line. Torrey James with a tackle, but it's a gain of 10.
That's what happens when you move Charles Woodson inside on the slot. You don't get the same quality outside. Torrey James only in his 6th year, and certainly not at the caliber of Charles Woodson.
Manning short to Wilkins. Wilkins turns it upfield and gets out of bounds at the Raider 32.
I'm not making an excuse. Charles Woodson slips down, but I'll tell you what, Wilkins, man, when he caught that ball, you talk about foot speed. He was flying on the first step. Watch him come across the middle. Now watch after he catches the ball. Bam, and now he's down. Look, he's full speed.
Now there's a guy who didn't practice much except for Friday. He's got some bruised ribs on the right side. His mom's a huge Redskin fan and a Colts fan.
Well, at least the Colts are doing all right.
That's what she's been watching Monday night.
Manning has him down to the 32. Pressure from behind. Throws complete. Harrison nearly dehorned there by William Thomas, who's a great cover linebacker. And there's a marker down.
Roughing the
Reagan Upshaw came in and hit Manning after Thomas made the saving tackle out in the flat.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 91 defense. Half the distance from the goal line, first down.
You know, the Raiders, we know they'll take some penalties, and coaches hate this. But don't ever take a stupid penalty. I'm going to tell you something. That time, Reagan Upshaw, I don't know. You know what? I don't know how he's going to stop. He's fighting off the tackle. Wait a minute. Come on. He's fighting off the tackle. He's going full speed, and he doesn't hit him in the head. He hits him in the back. I don't like that call.
Didn't look like John Gruden was real thrilled with it either. Manning to Wilkins inside the 5. Allen made the saving tackle.
Where were the Oakland Raiders on that defense? Both the safety and the corner were so far off of Terrence Wilkins, he could have written a letter to his mom.
Colts use a timeout to stop the clock with 31 seconds to go.
Watch this, guys. This is unbelievable how you get a guy so wide open, so close to the line, to the goal line. You don't have to cover. He's down here. Watch what happens with him and him. These guys are bailing right now. There comes the route. Oh, he's the outside receiver. Look at that. Nice job of running off in the corner. Safeties just bail. You're not going to get a receiver as wide open as that. Eric Allen backs all the way off into the end zone. You can barely see him in the picture.
When they went to a deep zone, they went to it in a hurry.
Yeah. You get much deeper, you got to buy a ticket.
First and goal for the Colts. They're down 13-3. Harrison and Wayne go to the right side. Wilkins to the left. James the setback.
So you just got to figure Edgerrin James is going to carry the ball here.
To the end zone, Harrison, touchdown. He beat Woodson. And a perfectly thrown ball.
You know, Manning's gone over there against Woodson a number of times tonight. The other thing about Peyton Manning is he doesn't read those clippings that he's all-pro. He knows he's got another all-pro and wide receiver running against him. But this, you're absolutely right, Michael, was just a perfect throw.
Vanderjagt for the point after. Yanked it. And it's no good. An unusual miss for Vanderjagt, and the lead is 4.
We talked about the great throw that Rich Gannon made earlier in the quarter to Tim Brown. Watch Peyton Manning put this up and out and over. But Marvin Harrison does an excellent job at the line of scrimmage, getting on top of Charles Woodson and giving Manning a chance to be able to throw the ball. By the way, you don't get style points when it says touchdown. It doesn't have to be a spiral.
Well, you've got to have an arm to play in this league. You have to have mobility, but there is the touch that separates a lot of guys from journeyman quarterbacks to guys who go to the Pro Bowl and throw for 3,000 yards every year.
But I can tell you another thing. We were there on Friday, Joe, and when the other team was down and now they're working on some defensive stuff, Peyton Manning was at the other end of the field where we were, and he was working on stuff from like the 10 yards.
With Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, working on that touch stuff. I mean, it's not like, okay, we're not going to get this in the game. They work on it an awful lot in order to have that kind of touch.
Well, that's why you've seen Marvin Harrison in the Pro Bowl. That's why you've seen Charles Woodson in the Pro Bowl. Now what Marvin Harrison is doing is telling Tom Moore there's a few other things that I think we can do against Charles Woodson now.
Hunter Smith to kick off. Dunn to the 12. Dunn, a good return all the way to the 36. Let's go to Susie Colbert.
Well, Marvin Harrison, so far another big night for the Indianapolis Colts. 5 catches, 33 yards, and a touchdown. Rarely does he drop the ball. He said to me that catching it is like an addiction. He envisions the catch and then immediately starts thinking of what he wants to do after it. And the secret to Marvin Harrison's success, Tasty Cakes, the snack food from Philadelphia. This guy doesn't put any protein shakes in his body. It's all about junk food. And I know Paul can relate to that.
Thank you, Susan. You're absolutely right. He won't pass up a junk food store.
He's my hero now. Gannon with all day to throw and then tosses it out of bounds. Coming up at the half, the Toyota halftime show with Chris Berman, the fastest 3 minutes in television. The Yankees and the Mariners faced elimination earlier today. The Major League Baseball playoff review, and coming up on the Toyota halftime show, all with Chris Berman. Boy, this has been a good one here. 13-9, Oakland by 4, 15 seconds to go in the half. Four-man rush. Gannon wants to unload, instead goes shorter. Brown makes the catch to 43, immediately signals timeout with 8 seconds on the clock.
I'll tell you, Tim Brown, the one thing, you talk about Rice being there and how they complement each other, but this guy, I know you're at the end of the half, and they're playing a little safety defense.
Soft.
But yes, softer safety defense, but Tim Brown knows where the openings are, and Gannon knows where Brown is.
Tim Brown with 100 yards in this half, well on his way to his 9th straight season of 1,000 yards or more. Jerry Rice, the career leader, with 11.
The Raiders are out of timeouts now, so if Gannon's going to throw a pass, he's going to have to throw maybe a 5 or 6 yard route to the sideline to stop the clock, to give Sebastian Janikowski a chance to kick what about would be probably a 55, 60-yard field goal. Paul and I were watching him warm up. He warmed up at 45. That's where he started. So he's got the leg.
Oh, he sure has that. See what Gannon decides to do. 3-man rush. Out in the flat to Jordan. Bobbled it and got out of bounds near the 41-yard line. So now they'll have to go to Janikowski.
On that missed extra point by Vanderjack Michael. That's the first miss he's had in 125 tries.
One of the most accurate kickers ever.
And they come back. That looms big. The San Diego-New England game. San Diego misses an extra point. Holder bobbles it. Winds up being a big play in that game.
Janikowski is hit from 39 and 42. This one is a 59-yard attempt. Short and wide. So Janikowski can't convert the big one, but he hit two. And an interception by Dorsett is the margin in this ballgame. Let's go to Susie with John Gruden.
John, you got the balance you wanted. How do you turn that into points in the second half?
Got to make plays. Got to call better plays, and we got to make some plays. But we're in this heck of a football game, isn't it?
You got tremendous respect for Peyton Manning. There was a lot of pressure on him throughout, but then at the end, he eventually seems to burn you.
You got to keep the pressure on him. He's a great player, and we got to make the most of our opportunities on offense also. But it's a fun game, I'll tell you that.
Thanks, Coach.
Susie, he's beautiful, isn't he? Our score here in Indianapolis, Oakland 13, the Colts 9. Let's join Chris Berman for the Toyota halftime show. Round two of the Raiders and the Colts, another gem in the making. Emotions running high, and there's one more half to determine who wins tonight at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. 13-9, the Colts lead. Welcome back, everybody. Guys, it's been a beauty so far, hasn't it?
You know, we just start to see some offense at the end of the second quarter, Joe.
That's
Up
good.
until then, it was all defense.
It is all defense. I think we talk about the stars on offense, the Rice, the Browns, the Harrisons. These two defenses have stepped up and played really, really well. Vic Fangio for the Colts, Chuck Bresnahan for the Raiders. Both these guys are doing a terrific job of shutting down really powerful offenses.
Colts will get the ball as we start the second half. Dominic Rowe takes it out of the end zone. Tries to cut it outside, but Torrey James is right there to bring him down to the 20. And there's a flag down on the play as well. Here are the first half stats. The Colts by 14 yards in total yards, but they had the one big turnover. That was the interception returned by Anthony Dorsett for a touchdown. Otherwise, it is virtually dead even.
And it was really their defense that got the big sack on Rich Gannon that gave their offense an opportunity to put the points on the board at the end of the half. Jim Mora, really, really not happy after the loss up in New England 2 weeks ago, and has had to sit and stew and wait.
And after beating the Jets in Buffalo and then losing to New England, Jim Mora wasn't really sure what kind of a ball club he had. He thought he could find out tonight. Dilger and Pollard are now in there together as tight ends. And Edgerrin James runs into his own man and then runs into Rod Coleman. Let's go to Susie Colbert.
Jim Mora isn't scheming anymore. He likes the way his team is playing. He'll continue to go with the no huddle throughout the second half, but they don't have to sustain those long drives. The key is going to be field position. That's where the defense comes in. He'd like to see them force some turnovers. He likes the pressure so far that they're putting on Gannon, mixing up coverage as well, he said.
And they've handled the run as well, too, Susie. Dilger, nice hands catch up near the 18-yard line. William Thomas on the coverage. Dilger, a 7-year veteran out of Illinois.
We talked about Ken Dilger not catching a ball in the first half. Wasn't even thrown to. Watch on the right part of your screen. Good release against William Thomas. Notice how Peyton Manning just anticipates where the tight end is going to be. That isn't what he got from Marcus Pollard, unfortunately, in the second quarter.
Dilger had a career-high 47 catches a year ago from that tight end spot. 3rd and a yard. Blitz coming. With a swing to James. And Edgerrin James has the first down at the 23. William Thomas could not prevent the first down. Let's take a look at the triplets. Manning, 157 yards, a touchdown and a pick. James, only 12 carries, but about 4 yards a shot. And Harrison, after a slow start, is up to 5 catches for 33 yards. pressure from behind. And overthrows Harrison. He was double covered at the near sideline.
Joe, just one play before they got the first down.
Yes.
It's third down in the yard. And that play that they ran, they knew that they had Edgerrin James on the linebacker. All he had, it was almost like a handoff.
Yep.
And it only picked up 3 yards, but it was a perfect call and a perfect play.
That's what Tom Moore counts on, the offensive coordinator. That's why they run this style of offense. It's all in Peyton Manning's hands.
When you only need 1, 3's pretty good. James against the run blitz. And Elijah Alexander is right there.
Let me just say this. Last year, when the Colts jumped out to a 21-0 lead, and the Raiders came back and won the football game, Greg Biekert said by halftime they had been able to figure out the run audibles that Peyton Manning was using. Now, Manning says that's a bunch of baloney because if you win a game, you can say what you want. But talking to Biekert and the Raider coaches, they felt like they figured out pretty well where he wanted to run the football, and they shut him down in the second half a year ago.
Greg Biekert's a pretty bright guy. He's just listening to the verbiage for a half. You pretty much have it figured out in the third quarter.
See number 54 in the middle, just sort of moving around?
Manning just got away from Grady Jackson. Throws on the run. Incomplete, knocked away by Woodson, intended for the rookie Reggie Wayne.
I love plays like this. I really do. The quarterback gets out, and now everybody is scrambling to get someplace. You got defensive guys, you got offensive guys that are going to run into each other. And here comes the pressure. Now watch Manning get himself to the outside. That was Grady Jackson, number 90, chasing. Now watch when he throws this ball in the middle, Joe, there were like 6 bodies flying.
And Charles Woodson was one of them.
Hunter Smith, the kick to David Dunn. He waits back at the 35. The Raiders should have pretty good field position out of this. Returnable kick from the 37. Dunn stutter steps and crosses the 45. 9-yard return after a punt of 42. The Raiders on top by 4. We're in the third quarter. 12-11 to go. Third quarter from Indianapolis. Raiders by 4. They have the ball at their own 46-yard line. First and 10. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Susie Culber, our entire ESPN crew with you. Glad you could join us on Sunday night from Indianapolis. Gannon, excellent protection, throws to Jerry Rice. Out of bounds at the Indianapolis 34-yard line.
You got Jerry Rice singled up on Chad Cota on the safety. I mean, that's the matchup you're looking for.
Well, not only that, the little bit of play action pass by Gannon does a nice job of making the linebackers jump up, and it allows Jerry Rice to go roaming across the middle of that defense. See him come on a crossing pattern, Chad Cota's got to run with him. If he gets a step out in front, he's not going to drop any.
Gannon fired that one in and out, incomplete. We talked to John Gruden about his newest wide receiver. Why did he go after Jerry Rice?
I've always marveled at him. He motivated me in 1990 to work harder. But when he was a free agent, we felt that he could come in here and play and help our football team. He's very inspiring. He still has a lot of life in his legs. And if you put the film on, old number 80 still making plays.
And he and Tim Brown came into this week tied for 12th in receptions in the NFL. Garner cuts it outside. Solid tackle by Macklin. John Gruden referred to Jerry Rice at age 39 as Red Grange. In this game, when you're 39, you are Red Grange.
Well, the thing about it is yesterday when they came into Indianapolis, they came to this dome and they're working out. And as the defense was doing some things, they looked down in the end zone and there's Brown and Rice running sprints. So Gruden went over to his young receivers like Porter and those guys and then said, hey, you see what those old guys are doing? Learn something.
And those are two of the hardest workers you'll ever find. That's why they've lasted this long.
Gannon's going to have to burn a timeout because they couldn't get the substitution package right. And so now he's had to waste one.
And there's that stare with a wasted timeout in the third quarter. Back to Indianapolis after this. 16-9 Raiders. 11:04 to go, third quarter. Third down and 9.
Well, you know, you're in a position, we were off camera, Joe just said, you look at, boy, this is a tough position to be in. You're in the 33-yard line. If you don't get anything, do you kick a 50-yard field goal? Because that's about what it's going to be.
The crowd on its feet. Gannon for the end zone. Caught at the 1, out of bounds at the 1-inch line, Timmy Brown.
Well, you talk about confidence. Third and long, and what do you call? It's really not a featured part of their offense. You've got Tim Brown matched up against Thomas Smith. He makes a little quick move inside. Smith tries to cut him off and then just loses the ball, but Tim Brown doesn't. Watch the concentration by Tim Brown. Look at that. What a perfect throw again.
Beautiful throw by Richie Gannon.
That's what Gruden expects.
First and goal. Movement up front.
The whole left side caved in.
Well, that one should be against the Colts because all the offensive line did on that play was to react to what the defense did.
Neutral zone infraction, defensive right tackle.
And you know, that's a smart
Half
play.
the distance to the goal line, first down.
If they happen to call it on the offense, they back them up 5 yards. They call it on you, you're penalized an inch.
Right side of your screen. The right defensive tackle just moved a little bit. Ellis Johnson just on the inside moved and flinched a little. It drew the offensive lineman off. Now, you used to be able to do stuff like that, but you can't now.
First and goal again, an inch closer. Wheatley is the deep man. Wheatley, touchdown. They send the big man at 235 over the top.
And they send it over the top of the biggest man, Lincoln Kennedy, number 72. John Ritchie leading the way in, and John Gruden likes that. That's what I'm talking about.
Janikowski will try to make it an 11-point game, and does. The Raiders on 3rd and 9 with a big 32-yard play, and now the pressure falls squarely on the shoulders of Peyton Manning. Speaking of incredible, did you see Brett Favre today?
He's the best in football.
Yeah.
The best in football.
If there was never any doubts, and if you saw Brett Favre today, you realize he is the best.
Peyton Manning is hitting 64% of his throws and needs to get some more yardage out of it right now. Manning back, throws the strike, and Pollard dropped it. Looked like he was losing his balance and going to the ground just as it got there.
The ball was badly underthrown by Manning on this one. They come with the blitz. He's got him on the corner route, and he just throws it short. The ball doesn't really come out in a spiral. Matter of fact, he's thrown some ugly ones tonight, and Pollard can't quite come back and make the play. And I think this also presents a situation for the Colts. If you've got to throw the ball, how big a factor can Edgerrin James be for them on offense?
James on the toss. Got a good block, makes a spin move, gets to the 25. Let's check in with Chris Berman.
Mike, today everybody get a reminder that Brett Favre is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. Against a great Baltimore defense, Favre was just greater. 31-23 pack at home over Baltimore. Favre 27 of 34 for 337, 3 TDs, including that one to Antonio Freeman.
He smiled more on the field than most people do on the sideline. He just has a wonderful love of the game and a presence about him. There's a blitz out to James, and great defense by Torrey James on Edgerrin.
That time Charles Woodson came again on a blitz, which forced Manning to go to the hot receiver, and Torrey James made the play.
Charles Woodson, Joe, I mean, you just love what he does. Watch him on the blitz. Here he comes, he's sneaking. I watch him jump up in the air. He knows he can't get through. I'm going to create some problems. I get up in the air. He's going to get knocked down. But it forced Peyton Manning to throw when he didn't want to throw.
Hunter Smith will have to punt again. as the Colts offense is stymied here with 9:05 to go in the quarter. Oh, a beautiful kick. David Dunn driven all the way back to the 13.
Huge mistake, David.
Hey, you run east and west long enough, one of those guys is going to plant you.
Ryan Phillips, who's a backup linebacker that used to play with the Giants, just leveled him. Raiders lead at 20-9 with 8:48 to go. Third quarter from Indianapolis. Oakland has the ball back at its own 19. Gannon short set. Nowhere to go, then throws deep sideline. Incomplete. Here are the numbers on Rich Gannon and his two favorite receivers. Gannon's thrown for 182. 8 catches between Rice and Brown. Timmy with 6 for 131 yards. Rice has really been held in check. 2 catches for only 27.
But what you don't see under Brown is 2 critical catches deep. Both of them to set up touchdowns.
He's been doing it for a long, long time. They both have. Charlie Garner comes back in at running back. And Garner will get the carry. Nowhere to go this time, up to the 20. For more on Richie Gannon, let's go down to Susie.
Well, it's been a long journey to Pro Bowl MVP for Rich Gannon. It includes 5 different teams. He was a middle-round draft choice out of the University of Delaware, drafted by New England. Raymond Berry wanted him to play DB. He said no way, and 6 days later, he was traded to the Vikes. Well, it was a long road, but he finally found his coaching soulmate with John Gruden. Both of them have that same work ethic, and it has worked.
And Susie, it's not like he didn't warn them in advance. He said he was going to be a quarterback somewhere. And he was right. Took a long time. Gannon scrambling. Slides in safely at the 29. Now, because he slid, they will mark the ball at the spot where he started to slide, and he may be short of the first down.
Boy, was that Corey Bird that came in, number 41, and almost took his head off.
Now, we had Jeff Garcia last Sunday night. Jeff Garcia refuses to slide. Very seldom will you ever see Rich Gannon go head first. This is a case where if he goes in head first, and if it was on grass, he might, he'll slide down. He looks over to see where the first down marker is and thinks he might have picked it up.
This is such a subjective call by the official marking the ball as well.
What do you think, Paul? Come on.
I think he made it.
I think he's a little short.
I think he made it.
Tough to fit a sheet of paper between the ball and the yardstick.
That was exactly 10 yards.
I said I think he made it. Wait a minute. Did you ask me?
Yes, I did.
Did he make it?
Yep.
Did I hear anything?
Yep. Way to go, Paul.
Very good.
I'm
Very
considered
good, Mr. McGuire. I didn't think he made it. I thought it was short when I saw the mark.
I think he made it.
Wheatley whacked as he got to the 30. Monday night at 9, Stephen Davis and the Redskins will go to Dallas. They'll face Emmitt Smith and the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Then on ESPN Thursday night, Rob Johnson and the Bills go to Jacksonville to take on Mark Brunell and the Jaguars. Our coverage starts at 8:28.
You know, one thing about this Raider offense, though, the way they run it, and as efficiently as Rich Gannon does, they can take some time off the clock.
Gannon deep drop this time. Wheatley in the flat couldn't hold the ball. Burris was there anyway. Speaking of Washington and Dallas on Monday night, let's take you back to 1983, September 5th. In fact, Dallas outscores the Redskins 28-7 in the second half on their way to a 31-30 win in Week 1.
Oh, wait a second.
Great throw,
That was
Joe.
tipped, wasn't
Wait
it?
a minute. Look at that. What a great, what a great defensive play.
We're just cruel, that's all.
Well, that's all he said. Oh, geez, oh, geez.
The only reason we showed that is because you threw a pick on that.
I'm going to watch the telestrator copy here.
Gannon back to throw against the blitz. Throws to Richie. He can't hold it because Peterson was right there with him.
Well, I'll tell you what, that Colt defense, they put some pressure on him. Number 96, Josh Williams, stayed on the outside and forced Gannon to throw the ball short. That wouldn't have been even close to a first down. It wouldn't even get back to the line of scrimmage.
Josh Williams has done a terrific job putting pressure on Gannon in 2 instances. One before the end of the half that gave his offense some good field position with a sack. And now this one forced him to get rid of the football.
Leckler will kick to Wilkins. Had that 18-yard return. Leckler averaging better than 51 yards a punt tonight.
Get it up in the air. Man, don't let this guy return it.
There you go. Pretty kick. That's beautiful. Wilkins from the 15. And taken out about shy of the 20. Or shy of the 25. Randy Jordan down on special teams for the Raiders. And the Colts offense has to get on track, and soon. 6:33 to go. We're in the third quarter in Indianapolis at the sold-out RCA Dome, and the Raiders up by 11. Peyton Manning and company facing a challenge now from their own 22. This may or may not be a change in plays. He likes to fake everybody out now and then. Manning throws behind Edgerrin James. He was bracketed by that Raiders defense.
We were talking about, when you look at all the 22 players, what Peyton Manning does on offense. As they come back to the huddle, he's looking at the secondary and the safeties for passes. He's looking at the front guys, the guys on the front line, all the guys up there for runs. Now, defensively, what you're going to see is as the corners deploy, you'll see the corner up, and then he may drop back, or he'll be up here and come up. You'll get a different look from the safety, go in different directions, just to try and give Peyton Manning something different to look at.
James on the toss, having to do it on his own. There's a flag down as well.
Boy, it looked like face mask that they grabbed Edgerrin James by the face. Somebody got...
Boy, there's another big break for the Colts.
Oh, man. This is huge.
Face mask foul, number 58 defense. Enforced from the end of the play.
Elijah Alexander, number 58. He reaches out, and the reason this is 5 yards is because he kind of grabs and then lets go. Bang, he grabs. Well, I'm going to tell you what.
That was close to 15.
Boy, you bet. When you snap
when the head
snaps,
snaps,
it's 15.
Yeah, that's real close to 15.
Of course, in regular motion, that's awfully tough for the official to see it. Edgerrin James could have told him about it, though. Manning to Harrison on a little cross. Turns it upfield and will have a first down at the Colt 34.
And guys, this is really not the Colts offense. This is not what they like to do. They like to go down the field. The short crossing routes are not what Peyton likes to throw, or really you want to get Marvin Harrison on. They've got to try and force the ball down the field. And being that Jerome Payton is out of the game and Reggie Wayne hasn't caught a ball, Marvin Harrison's going to have to be the guy.
Manning with plenty of time throws the strike. And there is Wayne with his first catch as a pro.
Who did he? You just said he hadn't caught a ball. Who's that?
He didn't up till then.
Until then. Boy, I tell you, what a difference you have when you have time to throw the ball. And this time Reggie Wayne is wide open, and Peyton Manning has plenty of time to throw the ball. Look at Marvin Harrison running down the field knowing that he was open.
Reggie Wayne was hurt before the first preseason game. Just getting over a high ankle sprain. Played a little bit early in the season, not much, and now makes his first catch, and Edgerrin James rips off about 8. For more on Reggie Wayne, let's go to Susan.
Well, and it was about time that Peyton found Reggie. When I asked Reggie before the game started how much time he had spent with Peyton over the last 2 weeks, he said way too much. But everyone on the team felt that he had the timing down, he has the system down, and he is a rookie, but he's coming out of the University of Miami where they're used to a high-speed passing game like this.
And he set a school record there in receiving yards with some pretty good company in that record book. James, nice hole off the left side. Runs into his own man down to the Raider 32.
You just talked about 15 minutes ago, Joseph, about how much can Edgerrin James help this team. They're down 20-9. When do you take him out of the offense and just go with passing him? You got to keep him in as well as he's running.
Right, and what I mean by keeping him in, keeping him active, calling the plays, continuing to feed him the ball. Tom Moore compares him a little bit to Barry Sanders, who he had in Detroit. He said he just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. He can break one. He may carry the ball 15 times for 50 yards. Then all of a sudden, a big one comes.
And he just wants it more and more and more. Manning with time, throws sideline, complete. Harrison caught it in front of Woodson at the 16-yard line.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. First of all, this all starts with the offensive line. When you have this much time to allow your wide receiver, and that's Marvin Harrison, to run this route. Watch the route he runs. Here's the fake. Now it looks like he's going into the corner. He stops. He's got Woodson turned, and now he comes back to the ball. This takes a long time to run.
And it's particularly good against Charles Woodson if you run play action because he likes to look in the backfield, and that's what Manning is running a lot of.
Spot the ball at the 21, 1st and 10. James has the corner. Eric Allen makes the tackle.
I want to point something out. How good a veteran is Eric Allen? Edgerrin James loves to use the straight arm. Instead of Eric Allen just throwing himself into Edgerrin James, watch what he does. The first thing he's going to do is knock his arm down so that he can make the tackle. Now that is a veteran defensive back.
Eric Allen's been around for 14 years, been to the Pro Bowl 6 times. 2nd and a yard. James. First down, it will be 1st and goal.
And there is so much time left in this ball game when you have an explosive offense like the Indianapolis Colts have. You just take your time with it. You got 2 minutes here in the 3rd quarter. You've got plenty of time to score in this quarter to bring you right back in the ball game.
Yeah, he's got 100 yards, all-purpose yards. This is the type of offense Jim Mora likes to see, and they have a rhythm about it. Peyton Manning not spending a lot of time staring and standing.
James again. Tries to cut it back, fights his way to the 6. In the draft, Ricky Williams was available, and a lot of people thought Bill Polian and the Colts would take Ricky Williams. Instead, he dipped down below most of the experts' predictions and chose Edgerrin James out of Miami. One of the reasons that James was so good at catching the ball. And all this guy has done is win 2 straight NFL rushing titles.
How about Ricky Williams today? Scores a touchdown on the last play of the game to beat Carolina.
That was some call, too. Manning, under pressure, throws, tipped it incomplete.
Wait a minute.
No, touchdown. Harrison caught it off the hands of Dilger. Holy cow.
This is unbelievable. The fact that Harrison stays in the end zone.
Yeah, he looked, when he caught the ball, he looked at where his feet were.
Dilger was plastered just as the ball got there. It came loose, and Harrison somehow got his feet in.
Now we have to see if Harrison kept his feet inbound.
Going for 2.
Trying to make it a 3-point game, and here came Beekert across the line of scrimmage. I think they want to challenge this. And Beekert was going to make sure they didn't get the play off before the challenge could come.
The question is Harrison in bounds? There's Dilger. He's up in the air. Marvin Harrison is just standing there. Oh,
he's inbounds.
Look at how he stays, his presence of mind to stay inbounds. That right foot could have very easily stepped out. Look at that right foot, but he manages to turn it, keep it inbounds, and keep possession.
Did you see him look grace and control?
Did you see him look down at his feet? What they're questioning here is, you're actually right, Joe, did that right foot step on the line? Now, Beekert went offside, so they penalize them. Now they're inside the right at the 1-yard line.
Wow, what a job by Marvin Harrison.
And there's no challenge.
Well, we saw the replay.
I wouldn't challenge it.
Now they'll go for 2, trying to make it a 3-point game. James. No signal yet. Now they got the 2.
I'll tell you, the officials are talking. They're talking this play. And if you wonder why the umpire, the guy standing right behind the play, doesn't make the call, it's not his call to make. Now watch, they have to wait to see if Ezra James gets in. And this play is called from either side.
See the late push, though? Edgin's on the ground. It's hard to tell. Is his knee on the ground? Is he in the end zone? I don't think he made it in.
That is the problem with the line judges having the call. They're 25 yards away. By the time they get there, how much has happened?
Watch this. Does his knee hit the ground? His knee's on the ground. I don't believe he's in. There's that extra little push, but you can't tell.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. If you look at this and you look at the drive of his legs, I am not so sure his knee does hit the ground, Joe, because his legs are still really moving and they're not on the ground.
I think his right knee actually does, Paul.
They have already signaled the conversion was good, and John Gruden is going ballistic on the sideline.
He's on the field.
No way. That's right. Not on the sideline. John Gruden's now at the 25.
Well, you know, you can see the umpire standing there, and you know that the umpire really can't. Jeff Rice, number 44, is the umpire. And if you watch him on that play from the end zone, on that replay, he doesn't do anything because it's not his call.
Which is something that's always just amazed me to no end.
All right. We're going to show you again.
Watch his right knee.
Wait. Now watch his legs drive. His right leg drive.
Now his knee is on the ground right there. His knee is on the ground, and then he gives a late push and moves the ball across.
Now they're saying he didn't score.
I don't believe he did. I think this is the correct call. Unfortunately for the Colts,
it was signaled that he had gotten the 2 points, but then they had the conversation
but it
and
came
said
late.
no.
Well, here's the thing.
Is challenging the ruling on the field that the ball was short of the goal line.
Now, here is the critical thing about this call. Had they not had the conference and changed it, the call would have been that he made it in. They would have needed indisputable evidence to turn it over. Now the call is he didn't make it, and they still need indisputable evidence to turn that over.
And it's difficult to see exactly where his knee hits, but you see the late push, and that's the question. Right there, his right knee hits the ground. Wherever the ball is at that instant is where the ball is down.
Hold on. Can you freeze that thing before he moves? I'm going to tell you what. The ball is in his gut. Go back right to here.
Paul, you can see the ball?
No. I can see it where it is in his hands now.
Right.
Okay.
It's right up by his side.
All right.
His knee is on the ground. All right. Now watch this. As we roll it, as we continue to roll it, you'll see him lying down. Now watch it.
Look where he's lying now. This is before he moves, Joe.
Right
he's
there.
on the white line.
Right there. I don't believe that that ball is in the end zone. I think it's located right there, short of the end zone. And then what he does is he gives a late push and winds up going in.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. It's so close. To cast your vote, you can log on to ESPN.com or NFL.com. Click on ETV. Boy, oh boy. That's as close as it can get.
Let's get something straight, all of us. Did the ruling that it was not...
The ruling is it is not a conversion.
That's the ruling on the field.
Then I agree totally. There's nothing that's going to overturn that rule.
I think that was the big deal with reversing the call, because you're not going to find, I don't believe, overwhelming evidence either way. So the call on the field is going to stand one way or another.
Bob McElwee doing a terrific job. One of the best referees in this game.
That he is.
Getting a lot of votes coming in. You can see by everyone watching at home just how close it is.
Got a lot of votes from Oakland.
See if you can see the ball. There's the ball.
Where's the ball?
Right there, right down there. The ball is right. I believe hitting the ground. His knee is on the ground. And we'll see. Let me put it this way. Now you go to the replay process, and I agree with you, Michael. I think in the replay process, because the decision is made that it was not good, it is going to be darn near impossible to tell exactly where it is.
If this is overturned, John Gruden is going to have a cat on national television. Here comes Bob McElroy.
There it is again. Now, you can see right...
After reviewing the play, there is no conclusive evidence to overturn the ruling on the field. The play is no good.
See, Mike, you made a great point. It was a question of what was going to be the ruling on the field. And I personally think that the decision was the correct one. Not obviously there's about 80,000 people who don't agree.
It became pretty clear early on in this that whatever they called on the field was going to be the eventual call. There's no way to overturn it with those replays.
But I can't believe that all these people in this stadium are booing Joe. It's amazing. I mean, the people that you have affected because of that call.
I'm sorry.
Well, now we have 70,000 people having a cat.
Oh. Well, that is, I mean, it's huge, folks, because that 2-point puts them within 3. Now they're 5 down.
Still plenty of time, though. 1:09 to go, third quarter. It's been an emotional night for everybody. Dunn waits for the kick of Hunter Smith, who has come up short all night long on these kickoffs. Dunn, a flying start from the 8, has the seam to the 40. Flags are down. Hard to go through a kickoff without a penalty.
And it's going to be on John Reggie, number 40. You know, when you hold
Holding, number 40, going to return. 10 yards, first down.
Let's go back and show you the touchdown grab. Marvin Harrison, first the awareness to be there when the ball comes out of Dilger's hands, and then the awareness of where he is on the field, the ability to catch the ball with one hand, still stay in bounds, and then sit down. That's remarkable for one of the great receivers in the NFL. Only Raymond Berry, the legendary greatest hands receiver in the history of this league, has more touchdown catches for the franchise. Gannon to Wheatley, fumbled the pitch. The Colts say they have it. No signal from the official. And they do.
Here's an example of a toss that's just a tad high. Just a tad high. Let me finish. But the back not looking at it. Not looking at it.
There's the toss. That's a tad high.
And look, that's the thing. I said a tad. It's up in his face.
A tad is an inch.
It goes right through his hands and hits him right in the mouth. Watch this. It hit him right in the mouth. And that's what you get for not paying attention.
You were certainly right about the second part. He wasn't looking. He was looking for the hole where he was going to run.
Tyrone Wheatley has not appeared to me to be in this football game mentally. We saw him do a poor job on pass blocking. It was a ball in the flat. He dropped and put on the ground. He has just not played very well tonight. He says the ball was up high. Doesn't matter. You still have to catch it.
That was the first turnover for the Raiders tonight. We are now even, in Peyton Manning with a chance to give his club the lead. Boy, has this been fun or what? And now Manning's going to have to use the timeout.
Well, he's running out of clock time.
Sometimes that particular play and instant in a game is so frustrating for a quarterback, because when you look up, you've got a play called, and I believe they're trying to go for it right now. You've got the momentum of the crowd going. You've got Gruden really mad and upset. You've got Mora calm as can be. And what happens is you now get a look, and you've got Charles Woodson on Marvin Harrison one-on-one. You get the defense you want, and all of a sudden you're out of time and you can't run the play. No guarantee when you come back you're going to get that same look.
Let me ask you about that matchup. You've got one of the great defensive backs in the game, Charles Woodson. But Harrison is your go-to guy. He is your Pro Bowler, the guy that's caught more than 100 balls 2 years in a row, and you can't back away from him.
You always live with your horse. You just ride the big horse in, and for the Colts, that horse is Marvin Harrison.
Manning, play fake. Plenty of time. Incomplete, knocked away by Eric Allen. Great defense as he stepped in front of Reggie Wayne.
This is the matchup we've seen all night. Marvin Harrison, Charles Woodson deliver him. There's the touchdown pass to Woodson. And here's just a great individual effort. Marvin Harrison on the sideline. He just believes he can beat Charles Woodson.
Edgerrin James, Grady Jackson slowed him up. James just inside the 20.
There's the head-to-head, 15 plays, 7 thrown to, 5 completions, 35 yards, 2 touchdowns, but that is not a reflection of the job that Charles Woodson has done. Well, one was a great catch, the other was a rebound.
Yeah, that second touchdown in there's got to be a little asterisk as far as Woodson is concerned.
3rd down and 10 for the Colts. Can they take advantage of the turnover? Manning steps up. Fighting for the first down, sticks very close.
Oh, he's a yard short.
Edgerrin James will give him something to think about with second effort. It will be 4th and maybe a yard when we come back to start the 4th quarter from Indianapolis. It's not an easy business to be in. The pressure reflected on the faces of John Gruden and Jim Mora. Big game for both. Both coaches feel they have enough to get to the AFC Championship game this year.
Well, they got Manning in there. I don't understand why they're not kicking a field goal. The only thing I can think of is they're going to try to get Oakland to go offside. Because if they take a 5-yard penalty, it'll make any difference.
Now Manning this is a fake, folks.
Well, they got Vanderjack working on, they're trying to get Oakland to go offside, and it really isn't a bad play because all of this is a 5-yard penalty, and it moves Vanderjack back,
right,
and he can hit it anyway. And look at the Raiders, they're taunting Manning like, what do you think, we're crazy?
Peyton Manning had no intention of taking that snap.
No, and remember now, Vanderjack missed an extra point. So, I mean, and he's a great kicker. There's no question about it, but he's only 1 for 2 coming into this.
His career field goal percentage is 88.8%. If he had the 100 field goals made as the requisite to qualify, by far he would be the most accurate kicker of all time in the NFL. Vanderjack from 35 yards to make it a 2-point game. And it's 20-18 with only 3 seconds gone in the 4th quarter. The controversial 2-point conversion is what separates the Raiders and the Colts right now, 20-18. Wheatley did not catch a pitch out from Rich Gannon. And the Colts were able to get a field goal out of it. Dunn waits deep for the kick of Hunter Smith. At the 9. Dunn, that long stride, gets it to the 30. Charlie Garner in at running back. Ritchie in front of him. Gannon to throw. Dumps it off to Garner. Nice job by Burris to come up quickly from the secondary and make the tackle.
What the Raiders need to do offensively is find a rhythm again. They come out, run a little play action. The play action faking has done very well for them. It's allowed Brown and Rice to get on the crossing pattern, and it gives Gannon an outlet to go. The Colts defensively have just done a terrific job of shutting down this offense.
They came in ranked 23rd in the NFL, 29th against the run. Garner to the 40.
First down.
Talking to John Gruden about Charlie Garner. In the case of Charlie, he comes from San Francisco where he's had 2,000-yard seasons, caught almost 1,000 yards in balls over the last 2 years, and really has to find himself and what his role is in this offense because he does split time with Tyrone Wheatley.
Tremendous all-around back is Charlie Garner. The 49ers would have loved to have kept him. They simply couldn't afford it. Blitz coming. Gannon for Rice, incomplete. Burris had him blanketed.
Boy, I'll tell you what. You know, when you call the defensive signals, you really know, you've got to know what you're doing. You know what I mean about blitzing Joe and picking at the right time. And here is Burris on Rice. And Jerry Rice stumbles a little bit. The thing about this throw was that Gannon had to throw it before he wanted to throw it.
Well, the other thing is if Rice doesn't fall down, he has a much better chance of getting to where Richie threw it.
But Burris is so good. He's always been such an excellent cover guy. Started in Buffalo before he came over here in '98. 2nd and 10. Gannon dumps it to Wheatley, and he dropped it. Boy, you're right, Joe. It's been a tough night for Tyrone Wheatley.
See, on 2nd down and 10, those are the plays that Gruden calls specifically to pick up 8 or 9 yards, 7, 8 yards. Look, Tyrone Wheatley is wide open. Matter of fact, there isn't anybody out in front of him except Burris, and he's going to go a long way. He just continues to take his eyes off the ball. It's the same thing he did on the pitch before, and I'd be surprised if we see much of Tyrone Wheatley the rest of this game.
3rd and 10, they're on their feet at the RCA Dome. Pressure on Gannon. Taken out of bounds.
Boy, they almost
a smart play by Peterson. Peterson had a chance to sling Richie Gannon, and at the last minute took his hands off his jersey. That is an intelligent play.
And good pressure up front. You see those guys coming up the front. Watch Peterson. He's got Gannon. He whips him around at the sideline. You can't see it, but just trust me, he did a smart thing.
The referee reached for his back pocket. He thought that Gannon was going to be flung to the sideline. But a great, intelligent play by Peterson. What a punt by Leckler. Wilkins lets it go, and it bounces into the end zone. 54-yard punt. Peyton Manning has his club within 2. They'll get another chance when we come back. The RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Let's get you up to date with Game Track in a 2-point game. Richie Gannon, 190 yards passing tonight. 6 of those catches from Tim Brown for 131 yards. Peyton Manning, 217 and 2 scores. And Marvin Harrison has both the touchdowns as part of his 8 catches. Colts take over from their own 20. Edger and James for a couple. Keep in mind the only game that Oakland has lost this year. They led Miami in the 4th quarter, and the Dolphins came from behind to beat them.
Jay Fiedler finding the end zone.
Not today.
Peyton Manning looking over the defense.
James draw. Room to run. Danced around the official. First down to the 37-yard line.
You know, this...
Go to Susie Colbert.
Mike, late in the game is when Edger and James does his best work. He seems to get stronger as the game goes on. That's a credit to his conditioning. And Peyton Manning told us that he believes he puts fear in the defenders' heads as he's coming through the line. As the game goes on, he says sometimes the D-line is actually yelling at some of the guys in the backfield, hey, help us out on some of the tackles. He's putting a hurting on these guys tonight.
23 carries approaching 100 yards for Edgerrin James, Susie. First down from the 37. James on the toss. Cuts it back, covers up the ball. James to the 49.
I'll tell you what, Pollard may not be catching any passes, but he just put a lick on Eric Allen, number 21. To open that thing up, Kent Dillard just gave him a handshake. I'll tell you, what a great block by Pollard.
There you see Grady Jackson missing the tackle. The one thing Chuck Bresnahan stressed to me, he said, we must tackle well as a team. And in this second half, the one thing that the Raiders have not done is tackle well.
24 carries, 107 yards for Edgerrin James. Manning, blitz coming. And Harrison pulled up short, and Manning threw it deep.
Boy, I'll tell you what, is this another wrong route?
It's the second time that the quarterback and the receiver have not been on the same page. This one wasn't as disastrous as the first. Marvin Harrison has got Charles Woodson on the press. Now, normally, when a corner presses a wide receiver, if you have an out route called, that automatically goes to a fade. That's what Peyton Manning was thinking, and the fade is a takeoff up the field.
2nd and 10 near midfield. Blitz coming again. James on the toss. Sets up his blocks and gets to the 46. It will be 3rd and 6.
The one thing that Gruden was talking about, and Joe described this hurry-up offense, which is really not a hurry-up, but they just a no-huddle. The thing about it is that Peyton Manning, when he's standing there looking around, you see all these guys just milling around. What Peyton Manning has is 40 seconds to decide what he's going to do. He says that's the best part about this offense and the toughest thing about the defense. He's got enough time. There's still 15 seconds on the clock. Peyton Manning just walks around.
Now the officials have whistled the clock dead.
Stadium clock to 10:29.
Well, we've got 11:01 on the clock, and
Clock stopped running.
The clock stopped running.
Oh, they're trying to
nothing gets by Bob.
Well, they want to get the Colts a little more time. But the nice thing about this now is that Peyton Manning pretty much knew what he was going to call, and the clock was down inside 15 seconds. Now he's going to have 25 seconds to go back up to the line of scrimmage, take a look around, and decide what he wants to do.
After a procedural stop, the play clock goes to 25.
Greg Binkert has to decide what he wants to do.
3rd and 6. They need to get about another 10 to give Vanderjagt a chance. Manning deep drop, dumps it off to Pollard. Going to have to get his on his own, and Elijah Alexander with a great saving tackle.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's just an excellent play by a linebacker on the tight end. Here's Pollard. He's sitting up in the backfield. He's just slipping out. He chip blocks and slips out to the outside. But look at Alexander. Gets himself square with the receiver and no gain on the play.
Hunter Smith will come on to punt. Dunn goes back inside his 10-yard line. Approaching the 9.5-minute mark in a 2-point ball game. Smith, a high floater. They try to down it and can't. Just too strong from Hunter Smith. A 44-yard kick. Clifton Crosby downfield tried to leap and bat it back onto the field to play, but he couldn't do it. Back to Indianapolis in a 2-point ball game after this. 9 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the ball game. Raiders 20, Colts 18. Gannon in the flat to Garner. And he's pushed out of bounds by Marcus Washington.
Now that's what John Gruden expects when he calls a play designed to the backs. He's looking for 7-8 yards. Give himself an opportunity to have some plays. Good job by Rich Gannon just getting the ball over Bratsky. Nice catch by Charlie Garner.
Looked it right into his hands, then turned upfield. Randy Jordan is in on second and short. Garner hitting the backfield. He will lose all the way back to the 25.
Boy, I'll tell you what, this defense has really been playing well. That was Mike Peterson that just makes a play on the outside. Also,
they said when they drafted Peterson, he's got the R&H factor. He can run and hit.
But Chad Brasky is the guy that just clobbers everything and doesn't allow anybody to get outside. Barry Sims couldn't get outside because of what Brasky had done.
Big play here. 3rd and 4. Gannon to Tim Brown, first down. How many times has Tim Brown caught a big pass on 3rd and 4 to keep the drive alive?
Well, you spread the field out. You count on the corners going one-on-one. There he is on Macklin. Macklin takes a hard inside position, and Tim Brown just really makes the easy move outside. This is pitch and catch for Rich Gannon. These two guys have been doing it over the last 2 or 3 years and doing it so well. They call him the captain, and that's why.
For the All-Pro, 7 catches, 144 yards. Look at the average, over 20 yards a catch. Gannon back to work. He wants it all for Brown. And great coverage by Burris. Boy, Burris has been spectacular tonight.
Boy, he has. You know, we talked to Jeff the other day, and he was talking about the crossing patterns that Joe went through about this Raider offense, and all these guys going back and forth. And Jeff Burris reads this perfectly. But he said the last time we played them, they had so many crossing patterns, so many guys were coming back and forth, in and out of crossing. He said, I swear to God that Gruden was in one of the pass plays. He was coming across the middle.
Well, he's certainly done an outstanding job tonight.
Numbers on Burris, 2nd and 10. Gannon, short set, throws to Jerry Rice. First down at the Colts, 49. Bashir made the tackle. The 3rd catch of the night for the greatest receiver that ever lived.
Jerry Rice, in his last 4 or 5 years in San Francisco, was relegated to routes like this. Didn't run many deep routes and didn't have many yards after the catch. He said coming to Oakland, he's hoping for that opportunity to be able to break plays again. And I think he will. You have to give credit to this Colts defense. They're just not letting these guys get any yards.
Right now, they're both on the sideline, and the toss goes to Jordan. Jordan powers his way to the 45. Gain of 4.
You know, another thing, when talking to Burris, when he was talking about this Raider football team, he said, now when Rice and Brown are not in the game and they have other guys in it, they still run the same patterns. They're different guys. Now, they don't run them as well. Yeah, you know, trust me. He said, but the patterns really don't change, so they can run all the stuff with Rice and Brown with all the other guys that they have.
Now, if you take those two guys out with a couple of 100 Pro Bowls between them, you think they're going to run the ball on that play?
Yeah.
I do. Gannon with time and completes this one over the middle. That's his tight end, Roland Williams, the first catch he's made tonight.
Roland Williams was the 3rd guy that they acquired. Actually, they got 4 in the offseason. Trace Armstrong, who blew out an Achilles. Roland Williams they got from the St. Louis Rams because the Rams were basically going to phase out the tight end. They also picked up Rice, and they picked up Garner. They replaced Risen, Kaufman, and Ricky Dudley at the tight end position and felt like they upgraded their offense.
I think they did at all those positions. Impressive drive for the Raiders. Garner back in there. Nice hole up the middle. Charlie Garner to the 25. Peyton Manning just watching as he sees the clock ticking down toward 5.5 minutes. A Raider touchdown would give them a 9-point lead, and Peyton would need 2 scores with time running out.
But the important thing about this offense, when it's efficient like this is, the receivers don't drop the ball, the clock keeps running. They run the ball, the clock keeps running.
And even a field goal, Mike, would need them 2 scores.
Garner. Monday night at 9, Stephen Davis and the Redskins will go to Dallas to face Emmitt Smith and the Cowboys on ABC's Monday Night Football. And on Thursday night, we'll be back with Ralph Johnson and the Bills going to Jacksonville to take on Mark Brunell and the Jaguars. Our coverage starts at 8:28. Randy Jordan is on the field for the Raiders. Third down. Gannon to Rice, first down at the 18-yard line. They make it look so easy.
When you look at the Raiders on offense, the way that John Gruden calls plays, he just counts on guys catching the football. They're 5, 6-yard routes, 4, 5 routes. Jerry Rice has to turn around, make Thomas Smith make the tackle, and it's really a possession style of offense. You normally attribute that to a running game.
And he can count on it because he's got Richie Gannon, who is amazingly accurate at quarterback. Jordan. Seeing 3 different running backs tonight inside the 15. Let's go to Susie Colbert.
Well, we talked about earlier Rich Gannon having so many different options. John Gruden addressed just having Rice on your team. Man, you talk about Jerry being available, having something to prove. Why not give him a chance? He said it's the vibe you need to experience. He certainly adds that different level of leadership out there on the field.
I think what Gruden told Susie going in at the halftime about, we get to make the big play. I think 3rd and 3, when you have a guy like Rice and Brown catch it, that's a big play.
I think the other thing he told her was it's a heck of a game.
12th play of the drive coming. Garner on the toss. Student body right. Garner to the 11. Look at the time tick off this clock. The Colts defense really has to hold to a field goal here to make it a 23-18 game, so a touchdown could still win it.
And the Colts only have 1 timeout remaining in this game. Well, and 2-minute warning, but it looks like the Raiders may take it down to that.
This drive has already eaten 6:15 off the clock. Just what the Raiders needed. Peyton Manning can't hurt you if he doesn't have the football. 3rd and 4. Blitz.